Howdy. It's been a while. I took a little break. Took about 2 or 3 months off. Kind of reevaluated things. Uh, but I'm back here today. So we'll just think about today. Hope everybody is enjoying their summer. Can't exactly figure out where to put my microphone. I don't like it pinned to the front of my shirt because I think it looks bad. But I'm going sloppy in a Sticks-n-Stones t-shirt today. So no Sticks-n-Stones polo. Anyway, I was going to come out here and smoke a cigar and have a drink, and I'm like, why not try doing another live stream? It's been a while. Hey, I got a great little lineup here today. I have a aging room Nicaraguan Sonata. Uh, I'm buddies on Instagram and X and some of the other places with Rafael Nodal, and this is one that he speaks very highly of. So, and I'm going to be mixing that today with some Green Spot Irish whiskey. I think it's a pretty good combination. So, I've had them both before, just not together. So, we're going to go ahead and hop right on into it. Now, to be a little more professional, this is the Aging Room Quattro Sonata. It's Nicaraguan. And these Aging Room, there's some really great cigars. And if you haven't had any of them before, you should definitely go try them. And I know my buddy Raphael would back me up on that. I'm going to go ahead and use my Cassetti multi-cutter. This is a great tool. V-cut, straight cut, punch cut. It's got it all. So, and it's a very elegant, nice looking. Comes in a nice little velour case, and I'm not hawking these. That's just so happens I got it as a Christmas present from Mrs. Sticks-n-Stones, and I do really love it. And we're not doing the full bloom. Here's what I smell. Here's the dry cold. I'm not. I'm just out here smoking. So it does have a nice easy draw to it. But this is the Vibrato 6x54 on the ring gauge. Everything that, as far as the sizes, all that kind of stuff, even the Sonata, this particular cigar, the Sonata, it kind of correlates around Raphael's love of music, and a Sonata, that I am somebody that actually has a little bit of culture. A sonata is in classical music, a musical composition for an instrumental soloist, often with a like a piano accompaniment. So there, see, hey, dude in a cowboy hat, and you could still learn some things of culture and holding your little finger in the air. Sorry, I had an itch. But anyway, this is a Nicaraguan Puro. The filler, binder, and wrapper are all from Nicaragua, and it is manufactured at A.J. Fernandez's Nicaraguan Tabacalera factory. So I'll go ahead and toast it up because I got dinner in about an hour, so I got just enough time for a smoke. Some really great smoke production off of that stick. Like I said, this is a 6x54 on the ring gauge, and it is a box press, but it's not a sharp box press. It's got rounded corners. I really like that. Uh, it doesn't affect it one way or the other. I just like the way it feels better than the regular box cut, and it's generally a little more rounded on the tip, where the box cuts will actually almost be, I mean, the real sharp box cuts will be like a square. It's not always the most comfortable thing. So, and I'm not going to say in your mouth on that because that's not, yeah, I'm not even getting into those jokes. It's nice. Uh, I pick up some notes of like cocoa and earth. There's a nice woodiness to it. Some natural tobacco. Um, a little bit of it's a little bit of citrus in it as well. Touch this up just a hair. It seems to be a bit wavy. Just want to make sure it wasn't my lighting skills. We'll see. But I also get like some like sweetened coffee. Um, well, you know, like I love like vanilla iced coffee. I always have a couple of stevias in it, that kind of stuff. I've lost like 55 pounds in the last 12 months, and I did all of it. Well, I go to the gym 3 times a week now, but also I cut out almost all the sugar out of my diet. Not all of it, but almost. Cut it like a lot. And I replaced it with stevia. So far, I haven't seen any studies that says stevia is as bad for you as like saccharin and that kind of stuff, because if you drink enough of it, it'll give you cancer or whatever. My dad always said, if you put anything in your mouth and it tastes good, you need to spit it out because it's not good for you. And it's about right. You know, it's always something. I am also picking up a little bit of baking spice out of this, maybe some cloves, some nutmeg. Not really any cinnamon, but specifically like the cloves and the nutmeg, that kind of thing. It's a good cigar. It's been a while since I smoked one of these. I think I had one at the El Dorado Cigars quite a few months ago. All right, it's still a little wavy. I'm trying to sharpen it up. Really nice. But then onto the green spot, as you can tell. I've already been into it. Love that. This is a beautiful spirit. It's got a lovely color to it. Beautiful, light golden, light to medium. It's not the regular golden, but it's also I mean, I've had stuff that's a lot lighter than this, where that's got a really nice golden hue to it. But anyway. If you have not had any of the spots, the green spot, the yellow spot, I think there may be a red spot. This is a spirit. It is Irish whiskey. You know, Irish whiskeys tend to be a little more sweeter and approachable than a lot of, stronger and heavier like bourbons or scotches or stuff like that. And this one is right along in that same line. Now, the tradition for green spot, they go back to like 1805 in Dublin, I believe, but I could be wrong about that. What does it say here? Having to remember all this stuff, you know. But anyway, it's a really great whiskey. Now, it is a single pot still. That means that it's in a lot of the same way you have single malt Scotch. Same thing. All of the spirit that goes into the barrel has to be from one pot still. and the green spot is 7 to 10 years aged. Uh, and that is their base spirit. Uh, the yellow, and like I said, I think there's a red. Uh, these are going to be a whole lot less prepared than they were before. So those are all have been aged longer. It is triple distilled, and it is a very smooth drinking, little to no ethanol or alcohol burn in it kind of spirit. It's got a real lovely velvety mouthfeel to it. And along the lines of Irish whiskeys, just like the Jamesons or Bushmills or anything like that, it does have a sweeter profile to it. You get notes of cream and pecans, some brown sugar layered in there. I do pick up some like chocolate notes or tiramisu, kind of a coffee sweet dessert kind of thing. And it's really a great blend for the aging room Sonata, because you have cocoa and coffee and kind of the baking spices in this, and they go really well together. And as I touched it up, it's still kind of slanted, which I still think is me, but if you notice, the burn line is like really, really super straight. So it was me. It was my lighting, not the cigar. Uh, Raphael, you've done a great job on this one, for sure. And man, these are both such easy consuming items. The cigar is not overpowering. It's got a really great profile to it. Uh, to me, it is kind of a medium strength. It's not overpowering. Like I just said, the spirit is very soft and approachable. It's a really great mouthfeel. Some really great notes to it. I don't think you can really go wrong. You know, this is a great way to have an August Sunday afternoon in Texas, where it's supposed to actually be a little cooler today. It's only supposed to be about 97. So it's going to be, unless they've changed, it's going to be like 100 every day the rest of the week, though. Just in time for kids to go back to school tomorrow. Get out on the playground, kids. Now, I kind of thought I would do these a little different. You know, before I really tried to just stick with the spirits and cigars and that kind of thing, but I wasn't really getting the kind of run I felt like I should be getting after 3 years. You know, um, I had a lot of views and stuff, but never really got any comments, anything like that. Um, so I just thought, well, I'll just do more ad libbing. We'll do that. Talk about the things of the day. And here in the U.S., it's the presidential election. Yeah, it's just about as effed up as always. You got Trump trying to get back in for a second term. That's belated. That wasn't right after his first term. But I think, as far as policies, he definitely has the better policy positions. It's just there's so many people that just don't like him. My mom is that way. She's like, I can't stand the man. She said, but I'll have to vote for him because I know if I vote for the other ones, I'll vote for Harris and Walls, they're going to screw everything up more than it's been screwed up for the last 4 years. And, you know, I talk to her about it a lot because I'm kind of the same way. I don't necessarily like Trump personally, but I love his policies. And I'm like, you got to look at it like this, Mom. You're not trying to pick a friend. You're trying to pick somebody to run the greatest nation and last bastion of freedom on the planet. You probably want somebody that's got the best policies. So I have to think, as far as personalities, the person I like the best is Robert Kennedy. I mean, you know, I feel like he's kind of the, even though he comes from the Kennedy family, he's probably the one that you could just sit down and drink a beer with the easiest. So I guess if we were looking for that, he'd get the leg up. But I do think he has been done wrong as far as there needs to be more than just the main two parties on the debate stage. You need the American people to know what's available, because that's how we've gotten in the problem that we've gotten into. They're so tribal. It's like you're either in my party or you're the enemy, and that's just not the right way to be. It has now become party over people. I know Trump's not that way, but everybody else under him is that way. And it's not what's good for the people, it's what's good for the party. And that's how we've ended up so effed up. I tell people, and again, Trump's the exception because he's not a politician. But as far as the politicians, they have three things that drive them: getting in power, staying in power, and making themselves rich. And what did Harry Truman say? You show me somebody that made themselves rich in public service, and I'll show you a crook. There's a reason why they call a group of baboons a Congress. But hey, and I don't know if y'all have noticed this. I have, and I'm actually pulling back away from Facebook and Instagram. I'm so sick of Meta. I just think I threw up in my mouth a little bit just saying it. I'm so sick of those people. They sent me a thing. I posted it on my Facebook right before I said, "Hey y'all, I'm gonna be spending so much more time over on X. Y'all need to come see me over there." Where they had removed a post because it didn't meet their standards. And I don't know what the post was. I just know what I wrote. And I wrote that not everybody was meant to go to college. And going to college was not a right. Well, apparently that didn't meet their standards. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but the truth is the truth. So there you go. So anyway, since Elon bought X, I've just gradually spent more and more time over there. So damn communists, Facebook. Yeah. There's a reason why I'm live streaming on YouTube and X and not on Facebook. So, I'm telling you, this is a wonderful stick. Rafi, you outdid yourself on this one. This one is really good. Still massive amounts of smoke. The blending of the notes from the spirit and the notes from the stick, they're just kind of going together really kind of flawlessly. You'd have cocoa and coffee beans and sweetness in the stick, and then you've got tiramisu and coffee and chocolate in the or cocoa, I should say, in the spirit. You've got that kind of brown sugary sweetness, and there's a little bit of nuttiness, a little bit of pecan in the green spot. So I guess you could maybe call it like candied pecans or caramelized pecans or something like that. That might do. And it's actually got a little bit down my throat on that one. It's actually burning fairly quickly. I mean, we're right at 20 minutes in, and of course I rattled for the first few minutes. So, I mean, this is going to be about a 45-minute cigar. So this is, yours might burn differently, but this is going to be a nice be able to get out here, get relaxed, and still have time to make. I have to be ready for dinner in 30 minutes. Mrs. Sticks-n-Stonez is working on dinner right now. So I just really, for those that may have joined a little later, oh, there's something about Robert Kennedy now. Kamala Harris rips 18 to 24-year-old something, and then it went away. I spend a lot of time on Rumble too, so I haven't really done much there as far as like live streaming and stuff. I can do it through Restream, who I'm using now, but you have to upgrade to their paid plan, and I have slashed expenses as far as Sticks-n-Stonez goes. So, you know, I'll move the American flag kind of out of the way here. I've got my iPad propped up to the plant on our patio dining table. And I would try to reverse so you can see the plant, because I did this all myself. I bought the little kind of bowl with a bottom on it. The bowl's about that tall and about that big around. And then I put a bunch of succulents kind of stuff in it. So it's got all kinds of things, like sticking up out of it. And then it sets on top of, there's a hole in the table right in the middle. And this is summertime. So I'll move the plant inside maybe for the winter. And then I have a little thing that goes on top with a propane bottle underneath it, a little camping bottle. And it's got the goldy colored rocks in it that are see-through, and you light it and you have a nice little mini fire pit. So I would like to at some point have a regular fire pit out in the yard, but there's not a whole lot of yard here because the pool takes up most of it, and the pool is the most important thing. So back to the whole political thing. I have noticed some pictures floating around, and even one video. I guess the Harris campaign posted a picture of Air Force Two somewhere, and there's just like this crowd of cheering people out there holding up all their signs and everything. And I've seen it now posted by a lot of different people, and they all have something different to say about it. But the first one was like, is there something you notice? So I zoomed in and I started looking, and I'm like, you got all these people holding their cell phones up like they're videoing, but there's no plane on the screen. There's like a sunset, and the shadows indicate that this is like midday. So where's the sunset? Because it's not behind the plane. And then somebody else posted the plane, and they zoomed in on it, and they're like, is there something you notice? And there's no crowd in the reflection off of the waxed up plane. You can see the buildings, the hangars that are behind the camera, but you can't see any people between that are in the picture or between the camera and the plane. And I'm like, so they're making it up? But hey, look what they did to get Biden in. They kept him in his basement. They just ran him out about once a week. They had 3 or 4 hand-picked reporters who each had one pre-screened question, and then they put him back in the basement for the next week. And he won more votes than any president in history, including Trump and Obama. And that's what I've said to people is I'm like, look, hey, if you got more votes than Trump when he won against Hillary, I believe, if I remember right, he had the record for the most votes in history. And then when he ran for re-election, he had more votes than he did the previous time. But Biden had more. So that meant both of them broke the record. And I'm like, this is Joe Biden. This is not Barack Obama. Now, I didn't agree with Obama, but I had to give him his due. He's a very good orator, and he was very good at pulling people together. And of course, he had the whole, you know, you give your props to Bill Clinton all you want to, but he was the first African American president in history. And uh, Joe Biden got more than him. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Because Joe Biden had ran for president 2 or 3 previous times, and both times, like Kamala, he never even made it out of the primaries. He had to drop out because he couldn't get more than 5% of the vote from his own party in the primary. And then all of a sudden he gets more votes than any presidential candidate in history, and has done exactly what a whole lot of us thought he would do. He wrecked the economy, has basically let the world run amok, and now then that they've anointed Kamala, she might as well be president right now, because he came out and he did the Texas Rangers thing. He had the Rangers at the White House. That's been his big thing for the last 3 weeks. He did that. Other than that, he's stayed out at Rebooth or whatever it is in Delaware. I knew what was going to happen in that debate before it happened. He was doing too much stuttering and stammering and tripping all over himself before that. You knew he was going to do it in the debate if he didn't have a teleprompter in front of her. And she's that way. She can, you know, she spoke to the press for like 70 seconds the other day, but other than that, she hadn't talked to the press. She hadn't given a sit-down interview, nothing, since she's been the candidate, except speeches where she can have a teleprompter in front of her. It's because she has the same problem he does. Not the same problem. His is mental acuity, but hang on, I had to have a drink of something other than just whiskey for a second. It's hot out here. I needed something cooler. So, but it is late in the afternoon. And this Nimrod that she has selected to be her vice presidential candidate, I'm like, could you have given a greater gift to the opposition? Seriously. I spent 21 years in the military. I was deployed twice. I never got deployed to Germany or Italy or any cool place like that. In Operation Enduring Freedom, I was deployed to Pakistan. The week we got there, Colin Powell, Secretary of Defense at the time, went on national television and says, "We have no combat troops in Pakistan." I did actually have a weapon, not like Waltz or Walls or whatever his name is. Now, when you laid mine down in the gun case, the locking pin would fall out of it that kept the upper and the lower held together, so it would just swing. Yeah, it wasn't a really great one. Fortunately, I never had to actually use it, but we never got shot at. They did have a riot at the gate one day because we were on a Pakistani military base, and so they had their base completely surrounded ours, and people in town knew we were there and they didn't like it. But then I went to Iraq, and in Iraq there was no more in the shit than you could be. I was at the airport right outside Baghdad. I don't mean an air base, I mean an airport. And we were getting rocketed and mortared 4 or 5 times a week. We didn't have a dining facility on our base. Right before we got there, they had gone through this big hullabaloo with the Army and the Air Force about they were going to shut the base down and move it out. But the Army's like, hey, this is where we send all of our guys out going on R&R. You have to be there. Otherwise, we have to send them 50 miles away down the most dangerous road in Iraq. So they kept it. We get there. Of course, they'd already moved the dining facility out. They had taken the floors out of our tents. They were just hard ground floors. And if you wanted to go to a dining facility and eat, it's like 2 or 3 miles down the road at a Marine Corps base. And that road that you had to go down, they found IEDs and stuff on it all the time. So you really were taking your lives in your hands just to go get something to eat unless you ate an MRE on our base. So also, I retired as a technical sergeant, E6. That's what I retired as. I was never given master sergeant and then had it taken back. You know, I'm not like angrily pissed off at the guy, but dude, don't exaggerate your stuff. Yes, you got deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. You got sent to Italy. Oh God, that's terrible. Shit, I wish I could have gotten to go to Italy. And you know that either her campaign didn't bother to vet him or they didn't care, because it has come up every single time he's ran for something. And of course the press, the legacy media, all the alphabet media, ABC, NBC, CBS, PMS, NBC, all the CNN, they all just kind of brushed over it. And that's like what they're doing right now. They don't care that they haven't heard from Kamala. They don't care, because she's the one that they want to win. So, and if she does F anything up or he F's anything up, they'll just schmooze over it like they do everything else. So, have you enjoyed the show thus far? Please leave me a comment. Let me know, dude, this sucks. I hate you. Or, hey man, that looked like a good cigar and spirit combination. Loved all the commentary. Whatever, I don't care. But yeah, I'll have to go back and look. I got some stuff set up somewhere, but like I got rid of the website because it was costing me money every month. I shut down a lot of the store stuff. You can still find stuff for sale over on Redbubble, redbubble.com. I have some Sticks-n-Stone stuff over there, like this beautiful shirt. It's got a soldier on the back of it that has the saying in it from Isaiah. And the Lord said, "Who shall go for us, and who shall I send? Send me, Lord." It's a big thing with the military folks. But then I also have Tanned and Tipsy. That's my new kind of slogan, which I love the beach and everything, and I thought that'd be a great thing. I thought, oh yeah, there'll be some people buy that stuff. No, nobody bought a stitch of it. I have a really good one. I was going to do this yesterday, and I was going to swim. So I had that shirt on to do the show with. And it's got Tanned and Tipsy on the front with a parrot sitting on the tee. And on the back, it's got a big jungle scene with a cockatoo in it. And it's got Tanned and Tipsy in big letters. Yeah, the only one of those that sold was the one I bought so I could wear it. So all that stuff you see on Facebook about, oh yeah, I made $10,000 a day, $10,000 a month doing this stuff. No. Maybe if you got blonde hair, blue eyes, and big knockers. But when you are a balding, middle-aged feller like me, you ain't gonna sell shat. Am I being too cynical? And if y'all are saying anything, if y'all are leaving any comments, I can't see anything. So I've only done Restream a handful of times, and don't really remember how to do it all. So things will get better as you go. But I may I'm probably not going to be on as regular. So, before, that was one of the reasons why I kind of took some time off, is it was really becoming uh, burdensome. Not only was it costing me money, but um, it took the time to select a cigar, to select a spirit, to kind of do your homework on them and make sure that you could, put out a good product and all that kind of stuff. And and then you had to take the time out to come out and record, and then take the time to go and do the editing and upload it and all this kind of stuff. And I was hoping that I was going to be able to, monetize it, make a little money off of it. But I've got monetization money sitting at all these little places around, like at Amazon and Rumble and all these places, but they all have a minimum. You have to collect up, $25 before they'll send you anything, or $50 before they'll send you anything. I've never reached that anywhere. So a lot of people watch. I go back and look at a lot of my episodes, the ones that I have on Spotify, and it's like in the last 90 days, even though I haven't done episodes in 90 days, my last 90 days, episodes have been looked at like 120 times. Nobody said a word. So after a while, you're like, man, I can't keep coming up with things to say, and I'm a much better banterer than I am orator. So I do much better when people are bouncing stuff back and forth to me. So back to politics. I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but there was I'm a card-carrying member of the Libertarian Party, uh, and I was, or still am, friends with somebody on Facebook that they ran for the yeah, card-carrying member of the Libertarian Party. Uh, they were running for governor. Husband and wife. Wife was running for governor. The husband reached out to me. He said, "Hey, we've been, looking at the comments and stuff that you've made on our stuff, and things that you post yourself. We think you'd be a really great candidate to join our platform and run for attorney general." And I was like, I'm gonna have to think about that. This attorney general for the state of Texas. So I'm gonna have to think about that. So I thought about it, and I'm like, well, I said, I'm not an attorney. That's the chief law enforcement officer of the state. And they're like, yeah, but you don't have to be an attorney. Like, really? So I went and looked it up, and no, you don't have to be. I said, let me think about it. So I thought about it long and hard. Your chance of winning as a libertarian is minute, because you can't ever get on any other debate stages, and you are really funding your own campaign, that kind of thing. So, and they were like, most of your campaign stuff will be like live streams and stuff on Facebook and whatever. This was before I was doing this. I thought about it. I gave it a lot of thought, and I really contemplated it. But I came back and I'm like, no. I said, I don't think that's me. And really, what it was is I have an ex-wife that lives a state away, and all she would have to see is something somewhere that I was running for political office, and she would run to the nearest television camera. Well, let me tell you what you don't know, and then she'd fill them full of a bunch of bullshit, just so she could be a pain in the ass. So, any of you folks out there that are military people, I recently wrote a book on specifically geared towards veterans on how to get a job with the military. Get a job with the military. It's easy to do that. Just raise your hand. Get a civilian job with the federal government. It's on Amazon. It's like $5. I just, I now work for Big Brother, and I had a phone call with a guy that he was retired military and he worked as a civilian. And his job was uh, working with veterans and helping them get a job, and specifically in his department that he worked for. But after I had that call with him, I started using a lot of his recommendations, and like I got a job like right away. Uh, and so I put a book together. Several years later, it just got published a few months ago. I'm writing another one, a western. It actually does kind of have a love story in it too, not Brokeback Mountain kind of stuff, but like real, you know. So you know, it might even actually. Hey, well, that's a nice breeze. Oh, it, it it's not done yet, but it's almost there, and then I'll try to get it published. And then I'm also writing a kind of a documentary of Stonewall Jackson. And I've probably about a third to a half of the way finished with it. All right, we are. My glass is almost empty. The stick's almost out. So I guess I'll give you an update. And I mean, there's really not much else that I can say uh, that other than that these have gone together wonderfully. Uh, this is a definite combination that you should try, and that is the Aging Room Sonata and uh, Green Spot Irish Whiskey. Uh, they go, I don't know that you could have two go together any better than these two have gone, and that is the Aging Room Nicaraguan Quattro Sonata. Uh, and at this point, I'm not even sure what order all those words go in. But the Sonata, Aging Room Sonata, you'll find what you're looking for. I'll I'll post this, and I know it's live stream, but you know what I mean. And I'll give you a link to the Aging Room on JR Cigars. That's where I get most of my sticks from now. I was doing it with the big company that started opening bars all around the country too, and I loved them. I mean, and I'll still hit their bidding site, but they have a local place here, and I loved it. I mean, it was like when you walk into the bar and like one side is covered in glass with these glass doors, and that's the humidor in there, and I love to go there. Uh, but it has now become more of a nightclub than it is a cigar bar. They're bringing in DJs, they're doing line dancing and all this kind of stuff. And it's like I'm there to smoke and drink and relax, and I don't really care about having a live DJ. Really, having ESPN all the time is perfectly fine with me. You know, so. I finished it. Rafi, if you're watching this, man, you did a great job. I love watching this. If you're not connected with him on the social medias, go look him up, Rafael Nadal. Uh, man's living the life. He'll post a social media in the morning, and he's out with the beach in the background. He's got his cigar and his coffee, sitting at a table watching the sun come up, or he's got this wonderful like 5-course meal of nothing but like delicacies and his cigar in it. I'm like, man. And he makes great cigars. I mean, he doesn't make them, but you know what I mean. He's not there like rolling them himself. I would definitely, I mean, I would give this pairing, the pairing, I think I would give a 100. It is an excellent pairing. Um, as I said near the beginning of this, I don't think you could find uh, a pairing that goes together any better than what these do. They really go together well. Um, Individually, I would give the cigar somewhere around a 95, 96. And I don't want to give him too much of the big head. Uh, the Spirit. Oh, and by the way, this is. I guess you'd say it to me. It's kind of like entry level for uh, a non-flavored kind of spirit. This is an 80 proof. Uh, you typically, maybe some of like the Japanese stuff, you'll find at lower proofs, but typically, in my experience, you don't find anything really less than 80 unless it's flavored. Uh, and So yeah, I'd give the Green Spot. I'd give it like a 91, 92. It's got, like I said, it's got an excellent bouquet. It's got an excellent flavor profile. It's very approachable for anybody, whether you're a beginner or whether you're somebody that's been drinking, 127 proof whiskey. You're still going to find this a very delicious whiskey. It's a non-flavored whiskey, and it's all around excellent. I think it's probably my favorite Irish whiskey ever. I know there's not that many of them around as far as big ones, but still, this is delicious. So, well, it's starting to get a little warm in my hand, so I think we are right near the end. So, I'm going to go ahead and drop off. Let me know what you think about this new setup. Not a lot of bells and whistles, just smoking a cigar, drinking some spirits, telling you a little bit about them, and talking about the events of the day. Let me know what you think about it. Until we get to be together again. Keep your sticks dry, your stones cold. Have a great day.